So apparently, Sony has done a technical presentation for their new PS5 Pro. New equipment coming out this summer or next year or whenever they announce it. Let's watch it.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers.
So my first thoughts here is the first thing is like, it's never a good sign to talk about the old hardware first. To be like, hey, our old hardware has such and such, blah 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 blah, and not really specify on the new stuff. So
Exceptional gaming experience.
I don't know. I just think it's weird that that's the first
When
thing you're
PS5
gonna do.
debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table.
It
8
did,
Zen 2
actually.
CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame
What game
rates
was
that
that?
can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass.
You see how Sony Studios isn't showing any of their direct titles? Because they're in hot water about their direct titles, especially Forspoken and
the realism
Helldivers
comes
and so on
from
and so
real-time
forth.
global
Concord.
illumination.
They're showing none of them.
Custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed,
This
resulting in
is-
ultra-fast transitions between game worlds
This is what I need another Ratchet and
and
Clank
data
game.
streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
This is what I want to see.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to
Look at how good this looks though. Still,
mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
yeah, they
Removing that
rather
decision,
play
or
well
at least
than.
narrowing that divide is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the
Larger
big three.
GPU, advanced ray
First, we
tracing.
made
I didn't see the last
GPU
one.
much larger, and the
And
big 3.
AI driven
First.
upscaling. AI driven upscaling. Everything fucking having AI.
We made
God
the GPU
damn it.
much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big three involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second.
Can I just say I don't trust shit that he's saying for real? I can't trust any of it. And it bothers me because of that. Because I don't know, I want to trust what they say, but it's just hard. Fuck.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier. This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5.
Show me new
Another
games.
Way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects.
I'm talking about old games, though.
As well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy.
Am I the only one that's noticing like very, very minor detail? You're talking about 60 frames. Where's the 120?
Allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the
I didn't know you
casting
could ride a
of
griffin in
shadows.
that game. Damn.
I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family.
It's always the most powerful console. It's always the best console. Like,
Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never break a legend. 'Cause they don't know we are legendary.
okay, it's just the PS5 with the flex adapter on it. Cool. Looks like a shoe.
Don't leave me hanging.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this? What's with all the neon?
I missed Ratchet and Clank, bro. Obae wa mou shinderu. What was that? Excuse me? Are they really showing this? First Descendant on PS5? Okay. Dragon's Dogma. Bro, PlayStation and Sony isn't. Yo, what the fuck? Is that real? Is that real pricing? Is that real pricing? Brother, that's a $700 console. Inflation's a fucking thing, but not for $700. Available on November 7th. Bro, that's $300 away from a G. Also, vertical stands sold separately is not the only thing I'm noticing. Okay, there's no disk drive. I'm not terribly mad about that, but because I think that the evolution is everything digital. But this is, you don't even offer it. That sucks, dude. L to Sony, bro. You guys are, damn, man. What the fuck, dude? First, this is terrible, but also just, man, I'm losing faith, bro. I'm losing faith.